when I go to an employer, I have military experience and education on my resume, and it's always impressed them. It's always given me that edge. They know that I'm somebody that would be dependable and hardworking, that I know how to work in stressful environments, but still overcome it and get the job done. I know I owe that all to the National Guard and joining the military.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 3 of the 2019 Pro Shootout. This contest will feature the Lone Peak Knights as the visiting team and the Wakefield Warriors from Virginia as the
Welcome into Tiger Fieldhouse for the 2019 Pro Look Shootout. Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart with you here at Deseret News Rewind's coverage of the 2019 Pro Look Shootout. As it's the Lone Peak Knights taking on the Wakefield Warriors out of Virginia. Their third time here. And the opening tip controlled by Lone Peak. Horsfield, pardon me, that is follow J off the mark. Cameron Brimhall. We got a foul on the first possession of the game going against Lone Peak.
Tell you what, though, I love the mindset there of Lone Peak. Work the ball inside, and Brimhall gets a pretty good look. Just unable to finish close, and talking with the Wakefield staff before the game said, hey, we're young. We graduated a lot of guys, so this is about guys, you know, developing leadership, developing the opportunity to come through and make plays, and they made a nice defensive stand on that first possession.
Bryson Horsford's pass a little too strong. You mentioned Wakefield, been here, this is their third year coming.
How about this defense, huh?
Well, they're in extend pressure. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens and how Lone Peak handles it. Lone Peak played Wasatch Academy last week. It was a 6-point ball game. It was 12 points in the fourth quarter. They were able to close it down a little bit down the stretch. But this is a very good Lone Peak team. This isn't a knock. It's not the same Lone Peak teams we saw for years as Jackson misses on the three. Brimhall fights for the rebound, tracks it down the corner, sends it up top, and reset.
You mentioned a different team. It is, but they've got a lot of returners off last year's squad. It's a squad that figures to be a top team in Utah this year.
And a nice start for Lone Peak as Hunter Hanneman knocks down the triple, and a name that is synonymous with Lone Peak High School is the last name of Hanneman. Those brothers have produced some studs that have come through the walls of Lone Peak High School. Is driving the length of the court is Jared Burton, and it's a quick 5-0 lead for Lone Peak.
Done a nice job on the boards, a couple offensive rebounds, defensive as well. Lone Peak, and this is a team out of Virginia that's tall, Dusty. We saw them walk in, it's like that is a big group, so good start underneath for Lone Peak in this one.
Zentner sends out to Hanneman. Burton back to Zentman for three. Can't get it to go. Brimhall with another offensive rebound. Somehow he got that loose ball back. Zentner sends back out. Brimhall for three. Long. Rebound to Hanneman. Reverse it. No, and now Lone Peak left a lot of points on the floor there. Could not get that one to drop. 5:40 to go in the first. Drop it inside. This is Todd, and Trevin Todd with the first points for the Warriors.
So, young man, we talked to both staffs about Trevin before the game. Said looks like an assistant coach.
I thought he was.
Even the Wakefield coach agreed. As Todd picks up a nice block there.
That's Trayvon Todd. Did I miss that one earlier? So Trayvon Todd with the block, and then picked up that loose ball. And when they came walking through, they walked in about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter of that game prior. And I really thought he was an assistant coach. I actually thought he was the head coach.
He is well developed. He can grow facial hair better than I can.
As Burton on the drive kisses it off the window. And Jared Burton with 4 points. In the early going, 4:50 left in the first quarter. Hope you're enjoying the stream wherever you are. Hope we got a lot of fans from Wakefield watching. Loose ball. Xavier Evans try to get that ball inside, and it's slapped away. As Todd has that one, sends out to Madden down the corner to Parker. Nice ball movement, and Xavier Evans lays that one home.
Xavier Evans.
It was good entry pass, and Xavier does a nice job to create some separation in the post. Able to get a nice soft touch off the glass.
Brimhall at the high post, hands off to Burton, and Burton now with 6 first quarter points.
Well, a start for Jared Burton, a senior, and this is guard high school in the state of Utah. It's put out a lot of great guards, and Burton off to a hot start here in the first quarter.
Including Frank Jackson of the New Orleans Pelicans. Outside with DeAndre Parker. There's a little J inside the arc, would not drop for Horsford. Now on the push, Burton to Hanneman. Hanneman sends it back out. Jackson for three. Got it. Timeout. Wakefield. 3:31 left in the first. You're watching the 2019 Pro Look Shootout.
Wakefield Warriors at the time. Into the Knights.
3:31 left in the first quarter. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. Thanks for joining us. Oh, that ball's poked away. Zentner picks up the loose ball. Zentner on the push. Send out to Burton. He sends to Jackson for three and his second triple of the quarter. And a quick 15-4 start for Lone Peak.
Yeah, Hanneman had one as well. So 3 triples for this Lone Peak offense. We talked about guard high school in the state of Utah. How about dialing it up from deep? And I've been really impressed with Lone Peak. I know it's just first quarter. We're just 5 minutes in, but what they've done on the glass and then to get the shooting going on the floor today, there's been a complete team. And you mentioned they gave a great run to Wasatch Academy a week ago, and you can start to understand a little bit why. They got a lot of scoring options on the floor.
Coach Ross in his second year took over for David Evans when David went up to Wasatch Academy. There was a moving screen foul there on Leach Kong, young sophomore. And that is the first team foul.
Team foul number 1 for Wakefield.
Fall away Jay for Jackson, no. Rebound sent back up top to Jackson.
It's a good job by that Wakefield defense, able to get a hand in the air and not give Jackson a clean look, but the offensive rebounds finally cleared away here for Wakefield.
Well, Burton finally doesn't get one of those little floaters to drop. They'll give him 8 points in a quarter. It is up top is Contreras. Here comes the double from Suarez. Inside to Kong, and that one's picked off by Zentner. Zentner sends ahead to Jackson. Jackson with a trailer on him. That ball stripped away, no whistle. Contreras swings quickly ahead to Parker. DeAndre into Zentner, and it's a charge. That'll be the second team foul on the Warriors.
You kind of knew once that started going down the floor, the action was starting to pick up, and it's a good job by Lone Peak getting back, forcing the offensive foul as substitutions back on the floor here for Wakefield. Horsford as well as Todd, both back on the floor.
Inside of 2 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, minute 55 seconds left. Ball sent along the baseline to Horton for three, and couldn't get that one to fall. Pardon me, Burton. I said Horton. Here's Horsford. Left-handed floater won't drop. Suarez able to send that one out. Picked up by Zentner on the run. Zentner to Suarez. No, they got him with a charge. And that'll be the third team foul on the Knights. Minute 25 left in the quarter.
I talked about Lone Peak picking up a charge, or drawing a charge on the possession or two ago. That's a nice job by Wakefield, able to step in. I think we can all agree on one thing. The logo for Wakefield is sharp, huh? You got the old Golden State logo.
Wichita. Yeah, either you can call it the Warriors or maybe even the Wichita baseball team. Wichita State baseball.
Okay.
One of the two. You know, before they had fans, I should say. That one team that made the playoffs with Baron Davis.
Yeah. Well, they did the throwback to those jerseys not too long ago, right? Last year, I think they did. Anywho. Now they're too hip and cool.
Oh, nice job working down low, and the reversing score there from Leach Kong. Ends the drought quickly down the floor here with the Knights. 3 on the way and short.
You know, Wakefield's done a decent job of hanging around. How about that fast break for Hatcher? Able to lay it up, and this is 15-4, 4 quick points. I know it's still, you know, a 7-point lead, but Wakefield's starting to see some energy on the defensive end.
You gotta wake up just a little bit. Come out to Utah, you're a couple hours behind. It's 8:15 back home. 3 on the way, short from Jensen.
We got some elevation difference as well. I love the story talking to the staff, said some of these kids have never been on a plane before. So as long as just give them an experience, right?
He goes, I'll never forget the plane taking off and it was shaking and the kids screaming.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Wakefield out of Arlington, Virginia. Is that baseline J from Trayvon Todd is good. They shook off the cobwebs early. This shot will count if it goes, and it's a little strong. And at the end of 1, it's Lone Peak 15, Wakefield 10. You're watching the 2019 Pro Look Shootout. Welcome back in the Tiger Fieldhouse. Start of the second quarter. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. We got every game, the Pro Look Shootout. It's streamed right here. As that ball is stolen, Jensen had that ball loose, and we got a kickball foul, or probably not foul, but kickball violation against Lone Peak, and we'll go back to the Warriors.
6 straight points by Wakefield to close out that first quarter, and now you get a extra possession here for the Warriors. Good response.
Back to the Warriors. They found their rhythm toward the end of that first quarter. As Keach Kong had a bucket there late. Sends back up top DeAndre Parker, and they got DeAndre with a double dribble. It was fun talking to Coach Parker at Wakefield, and it's about 3rd time coming to Utah and loves. It'll come every year. They'll invite him. And then the fun time where he says, you know, for me, he said, I work for Pro Look. It's kind of fun. Pro Look, a local company. Start here locally. He says it's fun to come to Utah and get to see the guys he works with, but he never sees. And hashtag fun fact, not that people are listening care, the first games we called together were the Pro Look Challenge.
Yeah. It was at a different venue.
Yeah, at the East Center.
But that was the debut of Dusty and Dane, huh?
The Double D's took over, and we haven't given it back. There's a steal by Lone Peak. That's a play there by Aaron Edwards. Luke Sutton wraps that one around. It's Sutton on the angle for 3 and makes it rain. That's either Sutton or Jared Aarons. All right, it's Luke Sutton. Got 2 13s listed. And a little bit of a cold spell comes to an end there for the Knights. We got an offensive foul on Wakefield. As stepping in for that one was Aaron Edwards.
I don't know that he loved that call. I don't know that I loved it from my angle, but the official was there, and definitive in the call. And the offensive foul is Wakefield had gotten it back to, well, as close as 5 after giving up that 3, was trying to draw back. And here's Lone Peak. Do they have a little push in themselves to get it back to double figures?
Floor, here's Edwards. Got the defender on his back, and Suarez could not handle the pass. And it's a turnover, and we'll go back to Wakefield. It was a tough start for the Warriors, but they've settled in here. And it's not just one guy. Usually you have just one guy start getting moving, but it's been a number of guys that have gotten buckets. They'll push their way back into this one. Here's Horsford on the angle to Parker. Drive the base. Oh, it just crawls off. Suarez fighting for the rebound. We got a jump ball, and the possession arrow belongs to Lone Peak.
I mean, to your point, I've got 4 different scores in that first quarter for Wakefield, only 3 for Lone Peak. Sutton had, just hit that 3, so he's the 4th, but I've done a nice job of getting a couple guys looks, and it's just about that consistency, right, that we talked about with Coach Todd before the game, about finding that leadership. Graduated so many seniors on that group last year, and trying to kind of help this team grow up a little bit.
Coach Ross takes the timeout. We'll take it with him. You're watching the 2019 Pro League Challenge. Six minutes left in the half, and an 8-point advantage for the Lone Peak Knights. Edwards inside to Hanneman. He lost the handle, and we go back to the Warriors. And we talked about how Wakefield settled into this game. Lone Peak started out red hot, and they've kind of, I don't want to say regressed because that's kind of a harsh word, but they've kind of come back to earth a little bit.
Cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. And the clock didn't start.
All I know is it was not Gary Payton's fault. It's so good to see Gary over there.
15 years of doing games. I was about to mention that. It's like, he's going to be your favorite PA guy. My least favorite, but actually not least.
You know what? That was Harper, a great jersey, by the way.
If he was wearing a Ron Harper jersey, then it would be my least favorite.
Huh? Really? Ron Harper?
Oh,
That's the guy for you?
Oh, there's a lot of them, but amongst many. As in transition, 3 on the way, crawls off, and thought, actually, when I left his hand, I thought I might knock that down from Aaron Edwards. Coming back, here's Horsford. Leaves it on the angle, DeAndre Parker. And he gets that up to Trayvon Todd. Kong. Parker, now over to Charlie Madden. Charlie, can get that J to drop. Loose ball, out of bounds off of Todd, and we'll go back.
Signed Gladden and number 10, Dante Clark Jr.
And it's funny asking Coach Parker, what's your favorite part about coming to Utah? Oh, the scenery. I'm always interested because we both spent time back east, and he said something that was very true. He goes, the snow in Virginia, it's yellow, it's different. Over here, it's so clean. There's a foul on Brimhall.
Of course, for those of you who are not, who are watching from back east, it's actually not a good time for scenery. Got a lot of cloud cover. Usually it's set right up against the mountains here in Utah, and just not the case with the weather this week. So kids missing out on some of the experience. Guess I'll have to come back in a few weeks, huh?
Let's get a good Storm kick that out as a nice drive and finish by Wakefield Xavier Evans. And right now it's a 6-point ball game.
continue to just hang around, and it's one of the things, you know, Lone Peak plays in 6A here in the state of Utah, Wakefield 6A in Virginia, but if you're Lone Peak, you had an opportunity to kind of put this team away early on. It was 15-4, and it's an 8-3 run since. Lone Peak right now looking for offense, going to bring Corbin Zettner back on.
Zettner will come in for Edwards.
How about this? Zettner hasn't scored yet. I mean, he's a young man that can score. Played at Wasatch Academy before transferring up here last year. And to have him score, that speaks pretty well to what Wakefield's done here in the early going.
Lob that one inside, and Xavier Evans fouled on the shot, but Xavier at the line. It'll be the 16th foul on the Knights. It'll be 2 free throws for Xavier Evans.
How about first free throws of the contest coming midway through the second quarter?
Didn't hit me on that one. Missed the first. This Wakefield team made it to the regional semifinals. 6A in Virginia is a little different than 6A in Utah. I'll venture a guess.
Yeah, I mean, we won't get into that.
Back rim, it won't go. We got a foul on the rebound on Zion Gladden.
You know, Lone Peak has already qualified for the playoffs in the state of Utah. I couldn't resist.
Yeah. All right, for the Virginia fans, do RPI, but every team makes the playoffs this year. And 6A has got 24 teams in it. That shot is good by Brimhall.
The first points for Brimhall as well. You know, he's been good on the glass. Young man that saw significant minutes last year for Lone Peak and what was a little bit of a down year for them. We'll see him getting things going for this offense.
3 off the mark there from Horsford. Zettner pushed up the floor. Over to Hanneman, drop it into Brimhall. And Brimhall's fall away won't go down, and the rebound tracked down by Deontay Clark. Clark, give it up. Get the bump and the bucket for Zion Gladden.
Here's Zion Gladden. How about that recognition? I mean, you see there's a Lone Peak defender just kind of there and, you know, go up on the shot, maybe create a little bit of contact, bank on getting that foul. He gets it, finishes, and a chance for an and one play for Gladden.
3:15 left in the half. And didn't get it. Jackson claims the rebound. It'll be dropped to the floor by Zettner. Zettner drop it inside to Jackson. Now Brimhall. Junction jumper is good.
Brimhall can put you in some compromising situations defensively. His length and his quickness, he can take you off the dribble, can hit that jumper as well. And if you're Wakefield, not really familiar with old number 40 and not quite certain how to play it, Brimhall able to take advantage.
And Xavier Evans goes right at him and gets the bucket. A little more mobile version of Noah Hollingsworth.
Yeah.
As that ball goes off the hands of Brimhall.
That's a name from the past, huh? We need to get a catwalk in here if we want to.
But at least Brimhall is not wearing New Balances. But Hollingsworth was an all-state basketball player at Judge Memorial during those last years of Coach Yurt. The state championships with Jackson Meyer and Court Dennison.
Jackson Meyer. Oh, those were good times, huh?
Inside Evans. He's just taking control of this ball game.
I'll tell you right now, if you're Wakefield, you're finding that offense, and Xavier Evans becoming a key component. He's been able to find positioning, get positioning down low in the paint, and just body his way to the rim on some of these Lone Peak defenders.
Mentioned Coach Ben telling us that graduated 5 to 6 seniors from last year's team. They got to find some things out today for this weekend, and right now is those moments.
Nice job defensively here on their rotations. Tough shot. But
Jared
Burton ends his scoring drought.
Yeah, Jared Burton came out of the House of Fire early and didn't stay aggressive, and here comes Evans. How about staying aggressive?
He's got 8 points in the quarter, Dusty. 8 of their 10.
Jump
in the
on
quarter coming from Evans.
Jump on 23's back. Let him carry you. Minute and a half to go in the half. Zettner leaves it back. Brimhall 4-3 short. Rebound Zettner. And that mid-range J is good.
first point, and boy, unfortunate if you're a Wakefield fan, because that ball, that's usually a pretty typical easy rebound, but you had guys underneath and guys that already vacated and went right in between. Lone Peak able to get the offensive board and put back.
Back into Evans. And he left that one long.
One of those where you're so close, you almost get caught. You find a way to get that off the glass. A little bit of an easier shot.
Zettner passes up the 3, steps inside and hits. And Zettner now with 4 points. And we're inside of a minute to go, down to 45 seconds in the half.
Every time Wakefield gets back to 4 or 5, Lone Peak has had that answer here in this first half.
Inside of 40 seconds. No shot clock in National High School basketball. Take all the time they want. Down to 30 seconds.
I noticed you had to change that up today. I don't know how tempting that was for you to insert the state.
I did it earlier. I practiced. Inside of 20 seconds. Horsford off the window, won't go. And Brimhall claims the rebound. Here comes Zettner, 13 down to 10. Burton got it to go. 5 seconds. Evans, 3 seconds. 2, 1 will count if it goes. And a good close here from Lone Peak. They head to the locker room with a 30-20 lead over Wakefield. You're watching the Pro Look Shootout on DeseretNews.com.
Bryson Horstman for 3. Last touch by Lone Peak, Wakefield basketball.
.6:45 left in the third quarter. 3 on the way and good
DeAndre Parker for 3.
by DeAndre Parker. As the 3 in the corner won't go. And rebound taken by Trayvon Todd. Inside Evans, and he continues what he left off with at the end of the first half.
You know, the amazing thing is Wakefield, they didn't have a great start to this match, but at the start of this second half, just 2 minutes in, they've had 8 points already. Got to get some defensive stops, though. Can't give up uncontested lanes in the lane.
That's what Coach Ross wants to see more of. Is Burton going hard to the hole, as that won't drop for Todd. It's one thing to hit threes. It's another thing to have something like Todd that continues to get to the rim and finish. That's
right.
demoralizing.
Yeah, well, and I mean, especially when you factor Evans can do that as well. So you wonder if Wakefield tries to go inside more and establish the interior a little more on a consistent basis. I think they found that in that second quarter. Really didn't utilize Todd a ton in the post. It was largely Evans, but Evans comes off now. I was just going to say, you got both of them on the floor and see if you can work some magic inside with your 2 big men, but Evans now off.
First free throw good. And the second good as well by Todd. And part of it, I mean, I don't ever think it's a huge thing, but I think it is when you come from Virginia to Utah and the elevation. Oh, and there we go. That was off the backboard as Todd got there. And it's a goaltending violation. And it's 37-30. 5.5 to go in the third. Charlie Madden. Near side with Horsford, inside now to Todd, and can't get it to go. Rebound taken by Burton.
I think he just got himself too deep.
Hard to the hole, take the bump, get the bucket. And Jared Jensen looking for the 3-point play.
Boy, Madsen trying to get that block. You just see that hand come in as Sutton had gone up with the shot, and official there going to call that pretty much 95% of the time. And Madden knew it as he now heads to the bench for the Warriors.
70% of the time, every time. And got him, knocked down that free throw and got the 3-point play. 10-point advantage now for Lone Peak, led by as many as 11 in the first half. And inside to Evans, we got a foul on the floor.
And now you do have Todd and Evans both on the floor. I'm Wakefield, I'm just going inside. They tried that the last possession, Evans missed it, but with both of them, look at that.
Nice seal by Todd, and Trayvon Todd gets the bucket.
You set that screen to allow Evans to come over and ends up putting you in great position, but look at that, no one stops the ball. Ooh, fortunate.
And Burton misses on the point-blank range shot. Then back down the floor with the Warriors. There's the Kai Hatcher on the angle now to Evans. High post to Kong, looked opposite. Not a nice hand by Brimhall.
Again, got a deflection on that pass, loaded up enough.
Shot by Burton. Todd can't get the hook to go. Sends it ahead to Jensen. And nice hands, but we got a foul. And they're going to call it on the shot. Let's go against Makai Hatcher. And it'll be 2 free throws coming away to Jensen.
I thought it was a nice play by Hatcher. It's close. A couple times now, Todd has had opportunities in the post. When he's come down, it's almost like he's had to take an extra step. I don't know if his footing is uncertain or what, but it's slowed him up in getting back, and it feels like it's taken him a little bit just to make sure he's got his legs under him. I'm not quite certain what's going on.
I didn't even watch that closer. Checking in now for Wakefield is Chris Wilson Jr. First free throw was no good by Jared Jensen, and he knocks down the second. 41-32, the lead for Lone Peak. There's Evans on the angle now with Hatcher. Hatcher at the junction, wide to the left. Rebound collected by Horsford. Horsford up top to Hatcher. Hatcher into Brimhall, no call on that contact. He stayed vertical. And quickly down the floor now with Lone Peak.
I was just going to say Lone Peak starting to pick up the defensive effort, and it's leading to transition opportunities. Second try.
And Hanneman with the stick back. And it leads back to 11.
You know, Brimhall, number 40 for Lone Peak, he took something in the ribs. He's been holding that midsection on that last possession for Wakefield.
And Evans left that one short. Jackson with the steal. 3:35 left as Hatcher staying active, and then finally gets called for the foul. And that will be the 4th team foul on Wakefield. Suarez comes on for Brimhall as Marcellus Contreras comes on for Wakefield. As taking down to the basket was Jackson, couldn't get it. Hanneman pulls down the rebound. Suarez with the loose ball, moving around. Jackson down the corner to Jensen. He stepped out of bounds, and we will go the other way.
Well, I thought Hanneman maybe came in over the back on that rebound. Fortunate didn't get called for it. I think the Wakefield bench would have liked it. I'll end up with a possession, but that deficit again, 11. They've been able to chip it down, just haven't been able to get within one possession.
I had it down to 5. It was 35-30. And since that point, it's been an 8-2 run here for Lone Peak. 3:23 left in the third quarter. Up the floor now with Wakefield. What are they going to turn for their offense? Evans has gone a little bit cold, and Todd now standing in that corner. Contreras, float it. No, we got a foul underneath, and that will go on Jackson. It'll be 2 free throws from Marcellus Contreras.
You know, we talk about officiating, Dusty, especially in basketball. It feels like we talk about it a lot. But they all have their assignments. It was interesting. I was watching the top official on that drive. It looked like he was getting ready to call the charge. The underneath official had the block, and the topside official said, hey, that's your call. It's your area. Going to go with it. And nice job officiating there, and officials communicating to get the call that, letting the guy who had the call get the call.
You know what would really help that communication?
Headsets?
An
Replay.
arch.
Oh, an arch.
For the halo.
They kind of got one here, right? Except
Yeah.
it's a little push out.
If you're under, so if you're on the if you're on the volleyball pole, we're block all the way.
Yeah.
Contreras missed the first, got the second. 43-33. Has hit the 3-minute mark in the third. Burton, Edwards inside to Suarez. Sends back out Edwards. Now Burton pulls for 3. Off the mark, Jackson claims the rebound. He looks back inside to Suarez. Suarez got that ball to Hanneman, who gets the bucket.
I don't know how that pass made its way through, but somehow it did, and Hanneman able to float it up and score it.
Parker with the blow-by and the pull-up as well. Knocks it down, and it's 45-35, 2:15 left in the quarter. Edwards sends out Jackson. And Edwards fouled by DeAndre Parker.
I thought the steal was clean, but that offhand came in on the body, and I think that's what the official saw. Calling it as Todd will get a rest here for Wakefield.
Burton off the inbound, send it to the corner, Jackson for three, and Jackson knocks down the corner tray.
Lone Peak, the third quarters looked much like the majority of the first quarter. Good defense, rebounding, and another big three. Third of the game for Jackson.
Contreras fouled on the move, and Contreras will go back to the free throw line.
Jared Burton picks up his first. Contreras to shoot two.
And the foul goes on Burton. 15th foul on the Knights. Got it first. Contreras made the first and got the second.
Zachary Jankovic checking in for the Warriors.
Jankovic comes on for Chris Wilson. Minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Jackson has that one stolen by Parker. And Parker gives it up. Jankovic sends back up top. Parker, middle and range jumper, won't go. Jankovic could have claimed the rebound. Jackson does. And he sends ahead to Edwards. Edwards has got Hanneman. Hanneman leaves it for Suarez, who lays it in.
Textbook fast break for Lone Peak. A nice touch from Hanneman to Suarez. Two more.
Contreras couldn't get that one to stay down. Inside of a minute, we go down to 50 seconds as that was an ill-advised pass. Evans to Contreras.
Edwards knew it too. Pointed the bench like, yeah, coach, I know.
Evans, a little out of his range. That one's off the mark. Here comes Jackson. 30 seconds to go. Hanneman for three. Got it. Hanneman from downtown, and it's now 16 points.
He's had himself a third quarter. Great start to this second half for Hanneman.
And Burton got his hands on it. It's out of bounds off of Edwards. 15 and a half seconds left in the third quarter.
You can start to see Coach Ross's imprint all over this Lone Peak team. Their defense, active hands. That man has been stifling here in the third. Done a nice job of really taking away a lot of the space for Wakefield, and it's just been tough for the Warriors to find easy points here, really since what, that 6-minute mark of the quarter?
Yeah. We mentioned they got 35-30. Then there was a goaltending, and from that point, it has been a 16-7 run. Nightcap will be Centennial out of the Henderson area in Henderson, Nevada, taking on Orem High School.
You know, I get excited when I see that Centennial name, and then I realize it's from the wrong state. It's like, all right. It's all right. My Centennial's not what it was, so.
Yeah, that's now Rocky Mountain High School.
Yeah, pretty much.
Trying to get that ball inside. Evans sends it out, 10 seconds to go. Contreras on the wing, 5 seconds. 3, 2, a ball stolen by Jackson. They'll count if it goes. And that'll do it for the third quarter and a 3. It is Lone Peak extending the lead. They lead 53-37. You're watching the 2019 Pro Look Shootout. Start of the fourth quarter, Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. That third quarter, Dane, belonged to the Lone Peak Knights.
It did. I mean, the way the quarter started, it looked like it might belong to the Warriors, but Lone Peak, what a response. I mean, we documented that was a 5-point game, ended up outscoring Wakefield 23-17 in the quarter. And Hunter Hanneman really came alive in the third. Jackson hit a nice 3, but the defense in particular, Dusty, for Lone Peak. And that's what Coach Ross is really known for. He was that defensive guy all those years at Lone Peak, now the head coach. And well, you can start to see his team, when they get it going, they're tough to stop and tough to deal with.
Brimhall, nice finish.
The best thing if you're a Lone Peak fan is the fact that Brimhall's back on the floor. I mentioned he was holding his midsection. He looks to be okay. Good to see if you're a Lone Peak faithful.
Jim Detchen, you're going to watch this. He's left me hanging twice. Todd with the putback.
That's funny because he gave me props a little earlier. Clearly, we know who he prefers.
Didn't bring him any cake. That was our mistake. Zittner heads back to Burton. I knew he was going to do it. Outside 3 on the way and short. Rebound taken by Wakefield. Dante Clark. The 3 on the way from Horsford. Nice start for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little push coming out of the gate. Can Wakefield do enough?
Suarez mishandles that, sends it out. Got trapped in a ill-advised pass, and it'll be Wakefield basketball with 6:35 left in the fourth.
We talked about the stifling defense of Lone Peak. How about Wakefield in this fourth quarter? Just a $1.35 in, or $1.25 in, but done a nice job picking up their own pressure. Taking away some of those passing lanes and making it difficult on Lone Peak to get it shot away.
Up top of Todd. Trayvon over to Bryson Horsford. Horsford skip over to Kong, and that shot won't go. Rebound to Brimhall on the push. Jared Burton caught with the carry. Gives a look and says, I watched LeBron literally stop last night.
Well, that was more of a travel than a carry.
He could have kept going, but put his hand under the ball. The dance at the end was the much. Here comes Zentner.
You know, there was a comment we had pregame that was actually my favorite in all of our conversations. Am I okay to insert that now?
Hold on. Zentner knocks down the shot.
We were talking about how someone had mentioned that, you know, it wasn't Wasatch Academy, and one of the coaches was like, hey, Wasatch Academy or probably could have beat the Jazz. And I was like, the way the Jazz are playing, they actually might. They're not even healthy right now, speaking of Wasatch Academy.
You know, Monty Sissoko.
I totally butchered that conversation. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Burton misses that. Suarez with the bucket. They're probably with the rebound. And then fouled, but Danny Suarez at the line to shoot 2.
Number 22, Mitch Kong, whistle for a second.
You know, for our friends watching from Wakefield out in Arlington, Virginia, I want to thank you for joining us here on the stream. Lone Peak High School is the perennial power here in the state of Utah in basketball. Won the fictitious national championship back in 2013. And won a couple state championships since then as well. Frank Jackson, when he now plays for the Pelicans, went to Duke. He's a Lone Peak Knight. Coach David Evans is the head coach, who was the coach at Lone Peak. He's now the head coach of Wasatch Academy, who's in this tournament as well, is actually here. How awkward that has to be. They played them last week.
Yeah. This is a Lone Peak team that, made had a berth to the Dix National Tournament just a couple years ago.
With David Evans.
Yep.
As the head coach. In fact, Coach Ross, the head coach now of Lone Peak, it was his son, the fastest hands in the West, who was the point guard for Coach Evans.
Well, and assistant coach, his son was on that
Coach
team,
Ashworth,
Stephen Ashworth. If you remember, they took Montverde. Had a shot. And that was, I know the Frank Jackson years were good years. They had Hawes went on to play at BYU, Tyler and TJ. So they've put out a lot of players. Eric Mika went to play at BYU.
Hamilton played in the NBA.
Yeah, they've had a lot of guys. One Bracken Funk. We can't forget the Funk man, right?
Yeah,
they've had a lot of guys they've sent to D1 basketball and trying to get this program back to that level.
And got the Division I. They sent them international as well. So 57-44. As Hanneman and crew break the press. Brimhall sends back out. Hanneman pulls for three, knocks it down. Quickly the other way. That's a jump ball, I think. Maybe a foul.
Well, officials got together and discussed, and we'll end up calling the foul. I think the hand was initially on top of the ball, but as they brought it up, that comes across the wrist, and the foul call from the backside official.
Shooting the line, Luke Hatcher.
And the first free throw is good for Kai Hatcher. As Todd comes off the floor in favor of Zion Gladden. Got them both. 60-46, 4:45 left in the fourth quarter. We'll have one more game here tonight. Host school, Orem High School, taking on Centennial out of Las Vegas. As Jackson fouled on the drive, this will go against Hatcher. And that is the 16th foul on the Warriors. They'll have one more. Quick inbound into Jackson. Jackson gets a number of defenders off their feet and then a foul. This will be on Dante Clark. They'll put Jackson at the line to shoot two free throws. Josh misses on the first, has one more. Down. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the fourth. And that three long, tracked down by Brimhall. And now Zentner. Quickly ahead, Jared Jensen into the corner, three on the way. Hanneman can't get it to go, and the rebound claimed by the Warriors, and that goes through the hands of Zion Gladden. Got got a little loose here.
Yeah, one of those fast break opportunities where you have numbers, and that pass just too hot to handle. A rocket through the hands, and another turnover.
On the floor, Jackson, nice ball movement. Oh, that three rattles out. And that's out of bounds off of Lone Peak. Hanneman will go to the bench.
How about the balance for Lone Peak? I mean, in the first half it was Burton. Second half it's been Hanneman, and you've had mixed in scoring by Jackson and Brimhall basically whenever they've wanted. There's a lot of options on this Lone Peak team to score points.
What are we looking for? Options. Outside with the Warriors is Gladden blocked at the rim. Burton inside, and the whistle comes. They'll put Burton at the line for 2 free throws.
Jared Burton is coming all the way up.
So the way the I want to call it a tournament, it's not really a tournament, the shootout goes, right? Day 1, which is today, we have all the games. Day 2s are already preset. Day 3 becomes best matchups.
I wonder how they determine those. Maybe an RPI system? I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Hey, in the state of Utah, there's a certain fan base that wants a committee to take care of them. We could do a committee, be a part of that. The 63-46 the lead. Because right now, it's the way Wasatch Academy looked today. Whatever happened, the Lone Peak Wasatch Academy part a week later. Excited to watch what Centennial brings, and also Orem.
Orem's got a couple scores. Young man, you're going to want to tune in and watch here in our next contest.
Mitchell's really good.
Yes, he is.
Zentner goes the other way, left hand. Oh, I thought that was going to go. That would have been a DNR T5. We need some. As can't get that one to go, and Zentner will go to the line for 2 free throws.
Which, speaking of, if you're, well, forget that. We can go national. If you got a good play, hit us up on Twitter. Hashtag @DNRT5, and our top 5 comes out every week. Have a couple of late shots in this week's edition, potentially. A couple dunks as well. Had some exhibitions down in Mount Pleasant this week where there's some future D1 kids that are flying above the rim.
Some today, too. 2:45 left in the fourth. And couldn't get those free throws, but got the ball back. 2:40 to go. Lone Peak doing a comfortable lead. Can't get it. Brimhall with it. Now, again, there's probably people at home or anywhere else saying, where's goaltending? In high school basketball, if you're going for a block and you hit the backboard, as long as you're attempting on the ball, it is not goaltending.
Yeah.
That's a college basketball NBA rule.
And personally, I like that version.
I do as well. At this level.
Yeah, well. Yeah, okay.
And that free throw won't go for Brimhall. 2.5 to go in the fourth. Again, Orem and Centennial will be next. Game 4 of the day. A steal by Jackson.
I'm just watching that bench for Wakefield and some of the staff a little disappointed with some of these plays. But, you know, when you're playing a lot of new kids and getting new minutes, you're going to have some of these games. It just takes some time for that to gel as a unit on the floor. We've already talked about the Lone Peak defense, and it's had its moments tonight where it's just been stifling, to say the least. And it takes a little bit of time for players to just get in the norm, get comfortable playing with each other, and get on the same page and rhythm.
Send up top to Jackson on the angle. 3 on the way, back rimmed. And loose ball foul on Lone Peak.
You know, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I'm just thinking about last year, and Lone Peak returned a lot of guys. I mean, Zedner's back, Brimhall's back. We talked about a couple of these guys that played last year. I think Jackson was on that team last year, had good minutes for them, and so they've got a lot of key returners. And you can tell there's certainly a difference on the floor, that familiarity of being in these types of situations versus the lack thereof.
And I really have fought making a joke about BYU Virginia Tech, but I might not be able to resist because I read a lot of funny Twitter comments from Virginia Tech fans like, how is this happening? But Coach, we talked to the coaching staff at Wakefield. They told us, hey, look, Utah is a really good basketball. It's a different brand of basketball.
It is.
David Evans talks about it all the time with us in Wasatch Academy. He's like, the Utah brand of basketball makes him more nervous because of the shooting aspect of what Utah is.
All right, so for those of you in the state, you see Lone Peak. And that was Luke Sutton, I believe. But there's a young man on the floor right now for Lone Peak who's going to be the next Lone Peak Knight. And that's Nixon Ruffner, freshman, 6'9", wearing number 33. Went to a tournament over the summer, and that kid is a good ball player. Has basketball in his veins. There's a pedigree there. Dusty should know this. He can fill you in on the details.
Ruffner?
Yeah.
Daddy played just a little east.
That's right. But he is going to be a young man you're going to want to watch in the state of Utah. Still has to get bigger, right? Has to put some meat on his bones, but as a freshman, 6'9", and he can shoot it.
Chris Wilson Jr. goes in line to shoot free throws. Both teams are in a double bonus. Minute 2 left here. That first free throw is no good. And just a second. Clock didn't. Oh no, we had a substitution. Cal Hansen comes in. Another name in the Lone Peak lore. The Hannemans and the Hansons and the Haas.
Basically, if your last name starts with an H, you're going to be pretty good.
I believe Cal is Trajan Hansen's younger brother. The three is wide and off the mark. Ruffner with the rebound. Gets it to Hansen. Oh, floater won't go. Rebound pulled down by the Warriors, and then there's a foul as Ike Johnson with the steal, and Ike will go in line for 2 free throws. Isaiah Lang picks up his first free throw, or first foul. 35 seconds left. It'll be game number 4. As the free throw is good. Made the first. And a second. 35 seconds to go here. We'll get to see Wakefield tomorrow. There's a 3 on the way and no good for Wilson. As Wakefield will play Wasatch Academy's number 2 squad. Tomorrow, 4:30 local, 6:30 Eastern. You watch it right here on Deseret News, live.ksl, or on YouTube. An impressive win for Lone Peak. They'll take this one 69-47. Dane, your Utah Army National Guard consistent performer.
I'm going to go with Hunter Hanneman. I thought his second half, in particular, when Wakefield had started to get back close, I thought he was really key in Lone Peak, getting that separation again and helping them move on to victory.
That'll do it. And again, our final score, Lone Peak 69, and the Wakefield Warriors 47. Jason Hanneman being our Utah Army National Guard consistent performer of the game. Stick around, game number 4 coming up, Orem and Centennial. You're watching the 2019 Pro Look Shootout.
15 minutes to get